if you could, state your name and a little bit about what you do.
My name is Chris Stone. I guess entrepreneur would be the best way to put it. Started off in pest control, Tulsa mosquito control, and then since I've grown to Houston mosquito control, Oklahoma City. I dabbled into real estate, flip properties, and single family investment rental properties. And then just in the last month, I've started a cleaning service and a salon as well.
All right, it's exciting. Well, what is your education work background? I mean, did you go to did you get a degree, or how did you start your journey?
I went to graduated from Bishop Kelly, then went to OSU and had a rough attempt at a first semester and came back. Started working full time for a company that I actually own now, and so I worked for them, and as I continued in school, and then ended up getting a job as a sales rep for Southern Glaziers. Took advantage of their program to pay for my school, and got up to 15 hours shy of my bachelor degree, and at that point went into business for myself and went all in, and so I'm 15 hours shy at the moment, but yeah, that's kind of that. Didn't see much of a need to finish up at the time.
Makes sense. I mean, you're doing pretty well for yourself, it seems, right now. So, well, currently you have quite a few businesses going, and I know you have quite a lot of employees over at your Tulsa Mosquito Control company, at least, and I'm sure all the other businesses as well. So, how would you describe your leadership style? What do you usually, how do you espouse?
So, I'm just kind of fallen into this deal. I kind of figure it out as I go. I don't necessarily have a style. I like to go for what I want, what I would want to see in a boss. So the things that I appreciated in a leader or a boss or mentor, whatever it might be, that is what I try to put myself in their shoes and say, okay, what drives me to work hard? What makes me want to do better? What kind of leadership does that? And I try to kind of put myself in their shoes and do my best to be that kind of boss. It's not always that easy, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well as it might seem. But for the most part, I feel like when I stick to that, they respect me and work hard for me, and they're honest and do a good job.
Nice. Well, did that kind of style come naturally to you? I mean, was it something, I guess you said you kind of developed it over time?
Yeah. So I never had any kind of formal training to do what I do. I mean, there's not really a path in life to say, okay, you're going to start in a pest control company and then have a cleaning company, this and that. As everything came, I just developed my own style and what felt natural to me. I'm sure there's a million better ways to do it. There's probably worse ways to do it at the same time. But it just at any given point, what came naturally to me is what I did.
Nice. Well, that's really I like to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, it seems like it's a good way to lead, in my opinion. So, well, how do you think your industry, your work environment affects the way you manage?
Say that again. The industry.
How do you think your industry, your work environment, all those, how do you think it affects the way you manage?
Luckily, it is something. It's kind of the same industry that I grew up in. As far as I used to build pools. I've always done just kind of manual labor, service industry, working for the customer. So I've always been in that industry, whether it's building pools or mowing lawns or whatever it might be, just service industry for the customer. And so I think that helps that I have so much hands-on experience from the ground up. And I relate to the people that work for me. I understand where they're coming from when it's 110 degrees out and we're working 10-hour days. I have sympathy for them, but at the same time, I've been there, I've done it, and I'm not above them. I'll still get out there and do it. So I think having that direct experience in the industry definitely helps me relate to them better and helps them understand that, okay, he's not making me do anything that he wouldn't get out there and do himself.
Yeah, I can definitely respect that. I mean, yeah, if you don't ask people to do things you wouldn't do yourself. Makes sense.
Right. Now, do I like doing them? Not necessarily. Don't do much bit anymore, but I won't turn away from it. If it needs to be done, I'll get up there and do it.
Of course, of course. Well, great. So moving on to our next kind of topic. So, how would you describe yourself as an introvert or extrovert? And do you think this affects the way you manage?
Extrovert, um, and not my, I was very shy growing up and in school, and we moved around a lot. So, but over the years, I don't know what changed that, kind of put me into that category. But, I think I have definitely a little mixture, but the extrovert side has helped me build my business significantly. Just the networking and getting out there. And, I think that style helps me in leading my guys, my team, just because I'm more open with them. I'm willing, I just went out and had dinner with one of my employees last night. I'm just, I'm real with them. I'm not. I've got an open door policy. I had a guy call me yesterday asking about a raise and what his future is in the company. And time you have a question or need anything from me, anytime. I don't care what time of day. Call me, text me, email me, hop into my office. It doesn't matter. So, the extrovert side, I think, makes me more real and open with my employees, makes them more comfortable talking to me.
All right, that makes sense. It's funny you should mention about the raising a question, because my next question would be how do you usually evaluate your employees' performance, and what metrics are most important to you, especially when considering someone for a raise or just
So
promotion in
we're ha-
general?
we're having to, with growth, becomes more structure or
Hmm.
is required. So as I'm getting bigger, I used to just kind of, they've done good this year. I'll buy them a trip to Disney World, or whatever it might be for the family, or I'll here's $2,000. I was just very nonchalant, like, okay, you've done good. Here, I want to reward you. But as I've figured out over the years here, you can't really just do that. They expect, once you do it once, they expect it again and again and again. While you're trying to be the guy and do something, to help them out or help their family out, it's a lot more to them. So with that, I have gotten to the point where we're kind of doing quarterly reviews and having to go through a more structured process. Okay, well, your raise is going to directly be correlated with this performance. How many callbacks you've had? How many 5-star reviews you've had? 1-star review. Every job we do is asked for the customer to review it, and 90% of them don't, but the ones that do, most of them are positive. But so I guess with that, yes, I'm having to come up with a more structured way to evaluate the employee and to make their races and their bonuses correlate directly with that. A lot of the key kind of things I look for are callbacks. So are they doing a good job? The biggest thing for me, I would say, is on time. Are they
Hmm.
tardy, showing up? That's huge in our business. People take off work for us to be there. They give up a lot of important things and dedicate their time. And if we don't show, it makes them extremely upset. Makes us look bad. We lose a customer out of the deal. So that
Right.
is probably the biggest thing for me is, 5 minutes early is on time. On time is late for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been familiar with that concept.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you for answering that question. So moving on, related to that, I guess, what do you think helps you get the most productivity out of your employees? I mean, you talk about raises and stuff, but what else do you think helps get the guys
But
involved?
now there's a, I like to put together like more competition, like things to make them want to be better or work harder than the next guy. I think internal competition is good.
Hmm.
Uh, competition. Just this 3-week cycle, I'm doing a 60-inch flat screen television, and I said, all right, hey, everybody go out there. Whoever gets the most number of add-on services over the next 3 weeks will win this television. So we put a board up in the office and, tally it up as they go. And, that kind of drives people to it's fun for them because it's, a free television if they just go out there and work a little harder. And then it's great for the business because it brings in new customers,
Mhm.
and it drives them to do something they might not do out of the ordinary. And is definitely, I like doing stuff like that to incentivize the guys and kind of drive more productivity out of them.
Nice. So you do still do the bonus thing. I mean, before you
Yeah.
said that that works to a point, but then eventually I guess it leads to, hey, now we have to have a conversation about, raises or
Yeah.
promotion thing
I'll continue
after that.
quarterly bonuses and the year end
Yeah.
bonus. This is just kind of more fun. Just, we were looking at a way to boost sales last month and
Right.
together, and it's done pretty well.
All right, great. Well, hey, making a good team, I think, is pretty hard to do sometimes. What do you think makes up a good team, and how do you work out the differences between personalities and different employees and how they interact with each other? What do you think helps build that together?
That's always a struggle. Not everybody jives with each other. They don't all get along. But I sit there. We definitely have conflicts come up here and there, and I sit them down. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm younger than most of my employees,
Hmm.
and I just I sit them down, which feels ridiculous. Two 40, 50-year-old men, and I say, all right, we're grown adults here. Let's get along. We have to work together every day. We can make this fun or we can make it miserable. And whoever's going to make it miserable won't be here very long. And, just kind of a subtle to the point message to them. And I nip that stuff in the butt really quick because it's toxic and it can take down
Mhm.
the entire morale of the company very quickly. And, it's contagious. If one person's negative and nasty all the time, then it rubs off on the next one. And it gets to the point they almost enjoy just talking in a negative manner about the company, um, which is ultimately what we're all here for. I say, look, we're all after the same goal. We want
Mhm.
to grow this company. I'll share the rewards. The more, the better you do, the better we do, the better we all do. If we sit here and banter and, make this a miserable work environment, it's not good for anybody.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I like that your take on all that. It's good to, I think, nip those problems in the butt quickly. So,
Yeah.
moving on to our next question. What do you, what kind of advice do you have, I guess, for first-time managers? People wanting to start new business, for instance, or even just putting in a new position, starting to lead people.
Yeah, I would say, put yourself in their shoes. Look at previous experiences that you've had. We've all worked for somebody. We've
Mm.
all had a boss we hate. We've all had a boss, hopefully, we love. Try to make yourself the boss that you loved. With anything, if you don't look up to your boss, don't respect them, don't appreciate them, if you don't think they're on your side, you're probably not going to work very hard for them. You probably won't be very loyal, faithful. You just there's a lot of negatives that come with not respecting who you work for. And that's a challenge as a owner as well, because I have to put people in place that I think everybody looks up to. And I've had a manager before that was kind of toxic to the company, and it really hurts the overall dimension of the company. So my biggest advice would just be, what do you want to see in a boss? What do you want to look up to? What inspires you to work hard and do the right thing? And that's kind of what I strive to be. I'm not always there, but that's what I would go for.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Chris. I really appreciate you letting me interview you.